You know, one of the underpinning requirements for a healthy democracy is respect for the rule of law. Therefore, eminent lawyers and public affairs analysts have tasked the incoming administration on this. Human rights activist and lawyer Femi Falana, former Lagos State Attorney General Arthur Wari, Special Advisor to Lagos State Governor Joe Igbokwe, and other human rightists have urged the President-elect Bola Tinubu to be committed to respect for the rule of law and financial prudence. I guess he has no other choice.
He has no other choice because rule of law is the fundamental basis of democracy. If there's no rule of law, every other person will do what he likes. But if there's a judgment in the High Court...
Let me stop you.
Yeah.
The backroom boys want to take a breather and we make some money. We'll be back shortly. Please stay with us. Okay, today you were on.
Yep, that we were talking about...
the nation's unity is non-negotiable.
Naturally, it is something that we expect from a president that was elected by the vast majority of Nigerians. I always tell people that the election of Asiwaju, for those people who care to sit down and look at it, cut across the whole gamut of Nigerian society. You cannot say it was the Muslims that elected him or Christian. So naturally, he's supposed to live by that particular oath of office and to reassure Nigerians.
Yeah, and that the human rightists are asking him to press for the rule of law.
The rule of law is important because if you don't, like I was about to say that if a High Court judge gives a judgment in Otukpo or probably in Elisha, that the thing is likely to affect the federal level and the government refuse to abide by it. People used to say body language. Body language is, yes, your intent. Judges don't have to look at the body language of any president, deliver the judgment. It is not left for the president or the governor of the state to abide by the rule. We were in this country when the Supreme Court in 2006 or 2005 gave a judgment that the local government fund for Lagos State should be released. And the president was asking that he did not understand the interpretation. And somebody was asking him, was the judgment delivered in German or French? That he did not understand. The man completely violated the rule of law of Nigeria. So no matter who you are, the simplest judgment, just respect it. If you cannot abide by it, appeal to the Court of Appellate. High Court is the Court of Appellate. Federal Court of Appeal is the Court of Appellate. When you get to the Supreme Court, you stop. But when the judgment is delivered at the Supreme Court and the president prefers, or those people who are supposed to uphold or implement that judgment are still waiting for the president, then it means something is seriously wrong. So he has no other choice if you want to keep Nigeria, if you want Nigeria to be okay, than to respect the rule of law at any point in time, so that others will fall in place.
Yeah, Yusuf, and we have this penchant, this attitude of not punishing bad behavior, and that has been on for a long time, vis-a-vis the rule of law.
I think Asiwaju has a lot of job, on his hands. He will have to personally define his own presidency. He won't allow aides, other this and that to be the ones. He will define, this is what I want, this is the path I'm following, and everybody will key into that agenda. And I believe if you go by his background, his, trajectory as a, political leader, it will be disastrous for him to jettison the rule of law. He doesn't have a choice. Somebody who has been fighting, all the struggles are done through the courts, what would they amount to? So, because he's now the president, he will now turn back. He cannot. He has gone too far to turn back. You understand me? Those who are setting agenda say, okay, you need to talk. But I must, because Asiwaju doesn't have a choice. Immediately he's sworn in as president, said the tone, this is where I'm going.
Yeah.
And people know, he knows the expectations will be too high for him to now start body language. Body what?
Okay.
A court gives a judgment, go ahead. If you don't read it, you cannot win all the times, and that is what democracy is all about. Sometimes the government is not always, it's not right. Sometimes the government is right, but when it comes to the rule of law, have absolute respect for it. And by the time you set the tone, everybody falling.
That's it. Tunde, and the other angle to it, financial prudence.
Yep. Towards the tail end of the government of former President Goodluck Jonathan, he set up a committee on the review of the civil service, how to cope.
Steve Osayande.
Oronsoye. And the man recommended that 87 MDAs are more or less duplication of the original MDAs. You see,
that they should be collapsed.
No, they should be scrapped or turned into departments in all the ministry we have.
Okay.
You see, the problem with Nigerians is that, the Nigerian leader is that, well, me as a person, because of the background of Asiwaju Tinubu, because of what he has gone through, because of what you are seeing, I want to expect that prudence will be his watchword, because he's an accountant. He has put that one into practice. The way he raised Lagos IGR, if you are not a man of prudence, you cannot do that. Let him, first of all, the first thing he should do is to scrap all those 87 agencies if they want to reduce the cost of governance. Reducing cost of governance is also prudence in financial management. That's also a committee that both Jonathan and the outgoing president has no political will, because it's a question of having political will to implement, and that is the way out for Nigeria.
Is it
now this year? Let me tell you something.
Today, is it a political will?
It's political
or
will.
Not offending people?
No, it's a political will. If you say not offending people,
just a minute.
It's political will. Yeah. It's political. Let me remind you of something. This year alone, the World Bank said that 96% of our earnings, we are using it to service debt. Which means why there is problem in Nigeria today is that we are only spending 6% is available to circulate among 200 million Nigerians. And that is why the poverty level has continued to increase.
Yeah, Yusuf. Financial prudence.
Financial prudence. What do you expect from Asiwaju? To go there and be increasing taxes? I don't think he can do that. For example, look at our VAT. This government came and increased it.
VAT.
Something that does not make any economic sense. It is not about the rate. It is about the pool you are able to, collect. You understand my point? Oh, your federal is this. Decentralize it. Let everybody collect. The more you collect, the better for everybody. Now, if you increase VAT, you are because consumption is the soul of any economy, you're trying to punish consumption. You get my point? This is an accountant. I'm sorry to say, the first person who is lettered, who is learned. This is the first time Nigeria we have that kind of person as leader. I'm talking about economic, literacy. Most of the people who have governed Nigeria are economic illiterates. I'm sorry to say, I'm not trying to be rude to anybody, but who among them, understands the workings and dynamics of, the economy? None. Nothing. But here is an accountant who understands, how
the dynamics
of the economy. You must continue to stimulate, consumption, and that's what keeps the economy, But when you come in, do you know that many of the things they are doing today, borrowing, Nigeria doesn't have business with all these foreign loans we are going for. No. With an accountant as the, president, what do you think will happen? You don't need to borrow. And
I hear they are frugal.
Oh, and it's not about frugality. It's just about having the sense to understand how things work. For example, look at when each time you talk about, forex crisis. Are we the only country in the world? You have the parallel market. You have the black market. Then you have the exchange. The official market.
Right. Yeah.
The parallel market the black market is actually the true market. The one they call the official market, that is the fraud, the corruption. Abolish it. Let, interplay, demand and supply, let it work out. Not somebody. So they now fix for themselves, and through their so-called official exchange rate, as the governor of Central Bank or any big man in government, I can make you a billionaire within 24 hours.
So what about this issue of stepping on toes?
Stepping on toes, that's what he said about political will.
Yeah.
Do what will favor.
Go there.
Do what will favor the country, not because my friend is involved, because he was from my church or mosque, or because my village or my... No. What you think is best for Nigeria. Do it. And the courage to do that. That's what they call political will. Without fear of favor.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah.
That's what people are expecting from Asiwaju, the incoming, president. And how does he do it? He needs to set personal example. He should make his presidency totally different from what you have had.
Tunde, I understand our friend, but at a time when we still have trouble with our citizenship, settlership, indigenship, you expect the incoming president to go the whole hog?
Well, I think that is it's a question of strategy and tactics that is going to use. But I can assure you that if he didn't go the whole hog, then there is no reason for electing him in the first instance, and there is no reason for Nigerians to expect that something good or something different will happen. If you don't go the whole hog, before people cross to liberty, to every breakthrough, there's a pain that you are going to go through. When a woman is in pregnancy, that 10 minutes before she delivers, she will go through a lot. Because that 10 minutes, either she will deliver successfully or she will not. But you'll be surprised that after that woman has delivered 10 minutes, she can still spank that child. That shows. So that shows that before we can have anything new in Nigeria, we are going to...
Something must give
way. You have to hurt some people. If you are not ready to hurt some establishment, let me use that word now, establishment, then you will not make a difference. Asiwaju must be ready to hurt some establishments by reducing the cost of governance at all levels. If you can do it at the federal level, governors will not have any other choice than to doing it. Because I believe sincerely that there is money within this country that is called Nigeria. We may not need to go about borrowing if we can plug all the loopholes. Now, we are spending 96% to service debt. The remaining 6%, people are still alive. So, which means if you can reduce servicing debt to 50%, Nigeria can be a country flowing with milk and honey.
Adekunle, let's go back there. You hear governors, Nigerian governors are powerful, very powerful. The president, by an enablement of an executive order, asked that remittances to local governments be given direct to them, without interference. The governors went to court. So the governors are still more powerful than the center.
There are presidents and there are presidents.
Okay.
You can have an aloof presidency. You can have an active presidency. You get my point? So it's not about just sign paper, it's the executive order. It's different from somebody who is acting, who is in the mix, the picture, who is working. You get my point? So I don't want to compare anybody with anybody. What we are saying is, you remember when Asiwaju was here first time, what did he do? Right sizing, he brought that word. He said he would right size the Lagos civil service. What did he do? He did it. And I don't think you can have a bigger form of opposition than what he faced that time.
Yes.
The Achilles of this one. You remember?
Oh, yeah.
But he did it. He achieved it. He said no, that he would, and he right sized. So many people are used to downsizing. That he said no, that right size, which makes sense. Yeah. That was the word he brought. I remember.
When the issue of the 37 LCDs came up, there was furore, according to the white man.
Well, because there's some creating local governments and turning into LCDs was seen as an affront on the unitary system that was given to Nigeria. And you and I knew that if you don't do something about this unitarism, because the governors are even more militant than the president that we have in Nigeria, they want to corner all resources. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria recognizes local government. When they share money every month, it's a federation account shared between the federal government, state government, and local government. Yeah. Why having while giving the governor opportunity to seize the funds meant for local government by having a joint account with the state, so that joint account, the local government officials...
But joint account is a provision of the Constitution.
But it doesn't give the governor the prerogative to be dishing out the money piecemeal to governors. So you will see governors begging local government chairmen who are closer to the people. Nigeria has 774 local governments. If they have their fund, they release to them.
Minus Bakassi.
Yes, minus Bakassi. Wait, 774 is still there. Yeah, if you have their fund released to them, I tell you, if a local government is coming to my area to construct road, it will not give the road to Julius Berger. It will give it to a local contractor, and the money will circulate within that local government. Why Nigeria's money is not circulating is that governors of all states of Nigeria, they sit on the allocation of local governments, and they are now avoiding, the thing is now dropping down. Let the local government, people say that local government is very corrupt. What of governors who are taking about 2 billion naira security vote, and here you have armed robbery all over the place. So let the money go to the local government so that it can spread to the grassroots. Like I said, the local government will not award the contract to Julius Berger. They won't award it to PWU. They will award the road contract to a local contractor. And that one will employ local people to do the job. When they employ local people, the money will go down. The bottom of the people.
Down.
But in Nigeria, everything goes up. The federal government will
nothing
seize money.
comes down.
Nothing comes down. The federal government will seize money. The state governors too. They are emperors.
Yusuf, finally, this is an aside. Only the governors have powers to sign death warrants. Our correctional centers are replete with, prisons that are overcrowded and so on. And so many, about 3,298 inmates are waiting the hangman. So
it's just a sad thing.
Commentary.
Yes, it's a sad commentary, because I've seen even governors.
We're talking about
who say
rule of law.
they don't want to have blood on their hands. These are not just people who are tried in wuru thing, who are exhausted the entire legal, who have been convicted by the Supreme Court. And Nigeria is still feeding them.
And the governors have the power.
That's failure. That's failure on their part.
There's power of clemency. You can forgive whoever it is. But they are not doing it.
But if you do that, it means there's no need to try criminals anymore.
In the first session.
Because these people committed crimes, heinous crimes.
Against the state.
Against Nigeria.
All right. Yusuf and Tunde, I hear we must go.
Yes.
But let me thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Tunde, let me thank you for coming.